we've been told here in this country to tighten our belts, and farmers have been told that they have to cut down on their cattle, and the people going to work in the morning being fleeced left, right and centre by the state in relation to carbon tax and everything. And look, people are willing to do their part to a point, but when they see the cod and the farce that goes on with the government, this government and other governments, imagine 400 private jets flew into Egypt in the last 2 weeks, full of government politicians from all over the world. Private jets. Now, there was a plane obviously flying to Cairo.
This is for the COP27.
For the COP27, we find this out. What has damage that has done to the environment from every one of the world leaders that told us at that same COP27, tighten your belts when it comes to climate action. But actually, we'll do what we like, but you'll do the fool. They also, from what I gather, and I've been reliably informed, that they were eating meat plates at a cost of €120. Now, I'm all for to eat meat, but they're telling us in here, cut back the meat. So they were living the lavish lifestyle. It looks like Minister Eamon Ryan, in newspaper reports yesterday, took a 55-person delegation out with him to Egypt. What cost is that coming to the state here? Is there any control? The Taoiseach went out there and spent millions, just announced millions of euros. There seems to be no control in expenditure in this government. But the number one thing in relation to the climate, the sky, 400 jets. What damage they done? In the name of God, this conference could have been done maybe by teleconferencing. It could have been done by flights that are already going in, even if they want first class in that same flight. So it looks like, again, it goes back to the era, like Deputy McGrath said yesterday, like Charlie Haughey telling us to tighten our belts, and he having the shirts worth thousands of pounds on his back at the same time. We're in the very same situation here. Climate action is only climate action and climate misery for the ordinary people on the ground, whether that's the farmer or the mother and father, the hard-working people. But when it comes to themselves, do what you like.
What would you say to Minister Eamon Ryan if he said the following to you? Because I know he was criticised in the past for it turned out that he and several other Green ministers had taken flights on business class seats, and they were criticised for that because it has a higher carbon footprint apparently. And what Minister Ryan's defence was, he said, well, it's important when you're doing work of national importance, when you're flying off to Brussels or something and you're going into hours and hours of meetings, it's important that you're able to do your job as effectively as possible, and so that it was justified from that perspective that he had to represent the country well and represent himself well. What would you say to that response?
I respect some of that to a certain point, but at the end of the day they want to set an example, and by God they're whipping the Irish people day in, day out. The man and I recently tried to get clarity from Minister Ryan, which took months and months. Can a man put one bag of turf on the back of his trailer in a market, one bag, and sell a few squares of turf or a bucket of turf if somebody wanted? And he came back and said no. But himself and the Taoiseach can fly out in a jet with 399 other jets flying throughout the sky, burning the fuels that they're burning of the highest damage to the environment that's coming. And they don't bat an eyelid. They're quite happy. But the poor man in Bantry can't sell a bag of turf above in Castletownbere and Skibbereen in the market. He can't put a bag of turf in the back of a trailer. Something's wrong somewhere, and this needs to be put right. And this government are unable to do that because they're no more green. No more green. That brown bit of timber there. That's the honest truth, because they haven't a clue. It's a great agenda to take people's eye off the real crisis that's in this country. And the real crisis in this country is people are going hungry, people are cold, people are in a miserable state because of a government that's unable to lead.